and I'm very excited to have these lectures recorded for you. First of all, let me apologize for not producing these videos quickly, as I'm trying to juggle things around with my busy schedule. So please, okay. So let's get this started. So my name is Rushdie. You have to remember, it's important to remember you need to have some sort of Linux knowledge. Recommended is to have Red Hat certified systems administrator knowledge in Linux. And I should tell you that this is not a replacement course for RH318. This solely serves as a supplementary learning for your RHCVA exam. So there was no kind of video course available. So that's why I took the decision to make this video course for you, so that it will make some justice to fill that gap. Okay, so the agenda for you, what's Red Hat's big picture when it comes to cloud, and where actually virtualization fits in that whole roadmap. The architecture of Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization. So this is important when it comes to troubleshooting and to knowing the internals of Red Hat virtualization, and little bit of libvirt and KVM, and the key components of Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization, and the requirements to install the web manager and the web hypervisor. So the big picture of Red Hat when it comes to cloud. So it has termed its cloud infrastructure as RHCI, or the Red Hat Cloud Infrastructure, that comprises of Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization, and on top of it you will see OpenStack platform. And for cloud systems management, you have the Red Hat Satellite, and the Red Hat Cloud Forms is the cloud management platforms. With this course, I'm intending to fill the gap of enterprise virtualization. So this is the RHCV architecture. The main architecture is the management component, where it's Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization Manager, where it runs JBoss backend powered by Red Hat, and you will see web service or web portals for each for administrating and user. So administration portal will have all the nuts and bolts to configure your physical to virtual infrastructure, but your user portal will be restricted in a way, so that users have only set of permissions and roles that are assigned to it. And there will be a web app for CLI and the REST API, which will serve for your cloud management platforms such as OpenStack. And so that's where the RevM fits in. And it will have the storage domains where your hypervisor hosts will serve your VMs, ISOs, and templates. We will see that in a bit, what types of storage domains you will have and how will you configure them. So Active Directory and IPA and Red Hat Directory Server, IBM Tivoli Directory Server, all can be plugged in for your authentication services to your RevM. So these are supported, all these four are supported, and it will have a PostgreSQL database where it will have the configurations and all types of configs that are saved. And then comes the the actual physical hosts. So you can have two types of physical hosts. One as the bare metal virtualization hypervisor installed, or else you can transform a normal RHEL 7 host into a hypervisor, or the physical host that will host your VMs. So VDSM will be the main component. We will talk about it in a minute. And with that, you will have the SPICE or VNC consoles for console access of your virtual machines that are running. So that's the main RHCV architecture. Okay, so let's jump on to the next slide. So what is libvirt and KVM? Libvirt and KVM sits on your physical host or the hypervisor. KVM will have all the modules that needs to emulate your physical devices, such as iSCSI, the SCSI controllers, your physical NICs as virtual NICs, and so on and so forth. And QEMU will actually talk to KVM in order to access the physical devices, such as your disks and your NICs. So what is libvirt? Actually, libvirt is a virtualization management API, which will which your VM tools such as Overt, Virt Manage, or VIRSH, Virsh shell will talk to, and in turn it will talk to your other hypervisors such as KVM and ESX. So this is a management API, if you will, which will sit on your RHEL host. So the relation between this, so from overt you will talk to libvirt. Libvirt will in turn talks to KVM. So KVM, okay. These is the smaller component which should be in a bigger picture. It will be this architecture. Okay. So your guest applications will in turn talk to your guest drivers, and will in turn talk to your KVM or the kernel virtual machine manager and to your hardware. So what are the key components? The key component is the engine, or the core component of your RHCV manager, the central management platform, the central glass of plane to monitor your physical servers and your virtual servers. It allows VMs to be started, stopped, created from scratch. Creations of templates and pools is possible only with this engine. Okay. So migration of VMs from one physical server to another, you need the engine to do this task, and it's built on RHEL 6 64-bit operating system, and you need Red Hat JBus Enterprise Application Platform. So hosts, when it comes to hosts, these are physical servers which virtual machines will run on. They'll provide the compute and memory power for your virtual machines. Even your RHEL normal 7 physical machines can be transformed into hypervisor hosts. So in the coming videos you will see how to do that. VDSM is the module that will sit as an agent on your RHEL hypervisor and RHEL host, to where it will act as your virtual hypervisors or the virtual host. So you will notice VDSM runs as a daemon, where you can see with a service status VDSMD or VDSM, and it listens to XML RPC communications to communicate with your Rev Manager. In turn, VDSM uses the libvirt for VM commands such as start, stop, and reboot. So portal, like I mentioned, you have administration portal and the user portal separately. To administration portal will have all the access to your physical servers and virtual machines, and the user portal will have only set of permissions and rights to do relevant tasks, so that in turn you can delegate some of the administrative tasks to your users in your IT department. Storage, obviously it's needed to store your VMs, ISO images and templates. This can be NFS, GFS, iSCSI, NFC storage devices. So you will see three types of domains of storage. You can either have NFS data or NFS export domain or NFS ISO, um, uh, or iSCSI data or iSCSI ISO, and FC data or FC ISO. When it comes to the examination, data and ISO domains are very important. That's how you can pass your exam. You will be asked to, anyway you will be asked to create a data and ISO domain, where you need the ISO images to create your VMs. So let's see about the Rev requirements. If the manager has a set of requirements and the hypervisor has a set of requirements, Rev M requirements are, so it needs a RHEL 6 64-bit, either a virtual machine or a physical server, and these are the minimum and recommended resources that it needs. So you need at least dual core CPU. The recommended is 4 vCPUs. You need 4 GB of RAM, available RAM, but the recommended is 16 GB RAM. At least you need 25 GB of worth of hard disk space, where the recommended is 50 GB hard disk space. The hypervisor, RHCVA hypervisor, requires 64-bit CPUs with Intel VTX or MDB enabled. You have to enable them on the BIOS. The latest servers that comes, it is enabled anyway. So it's the older servers that you need to manually go in to your BIOS settings to enable your Intel VT or MD. And you need sufficient RAM. Sufficient RAM in a sense how much your guest virtual machine needs. You will need to have that RAM, but the maximum supported is 2 TB. So 10 GB of space or more to install the KVM and the components. 1 GB NIC is the least that you will need. Nowadays you will see 10 gig NICs or 10 gig backbones that are running on your data centers. So Rev Manager also need 1 Gbps NIC. Okay, that's the least, but higher the better. So stay tuned for the next lesson of installing and configuring Rev Manager, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye bye.